25-year-old Michelle Leng was an international student living in Campsie, New South Wales. When she moved to Australia, she went by Michelle. Michelle was an only child. After losing her father in 2008, she and her mother, May, grew even closer. May described her daughter as deeply compassionate, someone who felt everything for everyone else, always doing her best to be a supportive friend, even when she herself was stressed or sad. In 2011, Michelle made the courageous move from Chengdu, China, to Australia to pursue her studies. Though her mother worried, she was proud of Michelle's determination to step outside her comfort zone and aim higher. May invested everything she had into this dream, hoping her daughter would build a better future. Some of Michelle's family already lived in Australia, so she moved in with her aunt, uncle, and cousin in Campsie, NSW. Once settled, Michelle began sending any spare money she could back home to her mother. By 2016, she had lived in Australia for 5 years. She had a close circle of friends, loved her surroundings, and was thriving academically. After completing a business degree at the University of Technology, Sydney, Michelle enrolled at the Sydney Institute of Interpreting and Translation. April 21, 2016. That warm Thursday afternoon, Michelle met a few friends and then boarded a bus outside UTS. She told them she was going shopping and headed to Pitt Street Mall. She browsed by herself for a while, picked up a few items, and then boarded a train at St. James Station just before 4 p.m. At 4:30 p.m., she got off at Campsie Station, heading back to her apartment. She was chatting with friends until late afternoon. Then suddenly, she disappeared. Her phone went unanswered, her usually active social media went silent, and no one saw her on campus the next morning. Although her sudden absence alarmed close friends, several days passed before anyone officially reported her missing. For days after she was last seen, her aunt returned home from a weekend away and became alarmed. Michelle was gone. She and her husband, Derek, went straight to the police to file a missing person report. Surveillance footage showed Michelle wearing jeans, a long-sleeved gray top, and carrying a red bag. In the mall, she appeared calm and unaccompanied. No one was tailing her, and nothing about her behavior seemed unusual. On Thursday around 3 p.m., she was seen in Pitt Street Mall purchasing juice, then heading to St. James Station. She arrived back in Campsie around 4:30 p.m. Her friends say that after late Thursday night, they had no further contact with her. Meanwhile, media attention spread. About 60 miles north, at the Snapper Point blowhole, a tourist spotted someone floating face down in the water. It wasn't a swimmer. It was a young woman with no clothes and evident stab wounds. She had been stabbed nearly 40 times. The fatal wound was to her throat. Investigators said she fought back fiercely. By 10:30 a.m., a paramedic was lowered by helicopter to retrieve the body. Authorities believed she had been placed at the blowhole rather than washed in from elsewhere. The seas had been rough, but the body bore no obvious injuries from rocks, suggesting the assault occurred before she entered the water. Police described the victim as an Asian woman aged 20 to 35, medium build, shoulder-length dark hair, with no visible distinguishing marks or tattoos. All jewelry was removed. The homicide squad released a computer-generated image, identifying the unknown victim as Snapper Point Blowhole Jane Doe. As the case made headlines, people speculated about Michelle. DNA testing confirmed that the young woman was indeed Michelle Leng. Investigations moved rapidly. Footage showed a vehicle captured on camera heading toward the national park a few hours before Michelle's body was found. Authorities identified the driver, her uncle Derek Barrett, the same man who had helped report her missing. Derek, 27, had married Michelle's aunt a few years earlier. Little was known about his background beyond a former IT job and recent unemployment. Forensic investigators uncovered disturbing evidence on his phone. Photos of Michelle bound and gagged in her bedroom, duct tape over her mouth, her expression of horror unforgettably frozen. Michelle's mother expressed gratitude to police and the Australian Chinese community for support during the ordeal. A fund was established for Michelle's funeral and to aid her mother. Derek was denied bail and sat silently as charges were read. 2 months later, He faced 27 charges, including detaining a person for advantage and indecent assault. Based on phone data and CCTV, police concluded the attack began soon after Michelle returned home. She was held captive in her bedroom, assaulted, and possibly enduring torment for hours. Her cousin apparently returned home during this time, unaware that Michelle was captive. Sometime between 4:45 Thursday afternoon and 10:30 a.m. Sunday, Derek murdered Michelle. On April 24th, he wrapped her body in plastic and drove to Snapper Point. Phone data tracked him stopping for snacks, then dumping Michelle's body over the cliff, at the very location she once photographed and posted on Instagram during her travels. Authorities charged him with murder and he initially pleaded not guilty. Michelle's family, flown from China, attended every court hearing. Derek's lawyer claimed mental distress, substance abuse, and memory loss, but the judge saw through it. Derek pleaded guilty in December 2017 to the murder and additional 21 offenses, including filming Michelle for sexual gratification, detaining her, and indecent acts. Derek asserted memory lapses and substance influence, but psychiatric evaluation judged his claims contrived. He showed no remorse or empathy. The court described his crime as depraved, brutal, and committed by someone in a position of trust within the very home that should have been safe. He received a 46-year sentence, with a non-parole period of 34 years. Despite revelations from 9 videos, over an hour, and 13 photos showing Michelle's suffering, legal limits prevented a new sentence. However, his non-parole eligibility was extended, meaning parole could come no earlier than 2022 instead of 2050. Michelle Leng was a hardworking, hopeful young woman, thousands of miles from home, trying to build a life she believed in, living among people she trusted. For her mother, first losing her husband and then her only child was an unimaginable pain. May said, "We cannot accept that she's gone. Our life is shattered. Time will never return us to when Mangmi and I were happy together."